Yeah, guys, the matchup to watch should be the Predators' blue line against those talented Blackhawks forwards. 20-year-old Seth Jones figures to have his hands full in his first playoff assignment, so we've got to make sure he's fully nourished going in. I sat down recently with Seth to talk hockey, life, and food as we drop the puck on Lunch with Layman, presented by Springer Mountain Farms Fresh Chicken. Most 20-year-olds are eating mac and cheese as opposed to pimento cheese beignets. Are you much of a foodie at all, or is it a strict Seth Jones diet during the season?
I eat everything. I'm not very picky at all. Most 20-year-olds may not like mushrooms and all that kind of stuff and Brussels sprouts, but I honestly, if you put something on my plate, I'll usually eat it.
What was it like growing up with your dad as an 11-year NBA veteran?
It was different. When you go to school, that's kind of what you were known for. You just try to embrace it. Obviously that's pretty special. Right now I'm trying to make a name for myself, so people don't know me as Papa Jones' son.
Were you the kid that was hanging out at shoot-arounds and those sort of things when you were younger?
Mostly when he coached the Mavericks, assistant coach of the Mavericks, probably 12, 13 years old, and I would go to shoot-arounds and practices. I got to witness professional athletes practice every day and see how hard they work and the sacrifice that takes.
How did you really get into hockey?
I went to a lot of Avalanche games, and I was fortunate enough to be at Game 7 in 2001 when they beat the New Jersey Devils in the Cup. That was the year that Bork was there, and he won his first Stanley Cup, and it was that special moment when Sakic handed him the cup after the game. That kind of jump-started the love of the game for me. I was 6, 7 years old at the time.
You much of a country music guy?
I am, actually, yeah. I like it a lot. I like everything, actually. I like Drake. He's probably my favorite hip-hop artist. Dance music is like David Guetta or Calvin Harris or something like that. And then country, it just kind of depends. I like Florida Georgia Line's pretty good. That new album they came out with, every single song is good. Luke Bryan, Brad Paisley, he's got some good ones as well. So it's kind of, Blake Shelton is also a good one.
Now the Hawks get a man out of the box. It's 5-on-4. Weber scores!
Are you ever amazed when he lets one rip?
Yeah, every time, pretty much. This summer I was skating with him right before training camp, and he'd be, just ripping them. He missed the net one time, and it put a hole through the boards at Centennial. I took a picture of it, put it on Twitter, and it was everywhere, TSN, Sports Center, in like an hour.
I think people were just waiting for the skills competition this year.
They were.
For him to do what he did.
I was, yeah. You saw reaction on people's face on the bench there. Some of the other All-Stars are just like, oh my goodness.
What have you learned from a guy like him, watching him every day?
Work ethic, I think, is one of the biggest things, and being a leader and how to lead a team to success.
All right, we got to take a break for this. This is Seth, what's your experience with hot chicken in Nashville?
Not very much experience.
Yeah,
I don't have. It's so spicy.
The traditional ones are generally like fried, and they're really, really hot because it's all cayenne pepper all over it. This one's a little bit more healthy because it's not fried and,
That's good,
and all that. And it's probably not quite as spicy.
It's good. I like a little bit of spicy, actually.
You get drafted at 18 years.
Yeah.
Before you know it, you're playing in the NHL. Was it kind of a welcome to the NHL moment for you at all, to see the guys that you grew up watching and maybe idolizing?
It happened pretty quick, I'm not going to lie. And I was kind of thrown into it, and I just tried to impress the coaching staff the best I could. And I ended up getting a spot last year, which was pretty special. And the first game I played was awesome. Like you said, playing against guys that when I was 10 years old, I'm watching these guys. I actually had a welcome to the NHL moment. We were in Detroit last year, and I wasn't supposed to be matched up against Doncic, but we were on the road, so I got stuck out there with him. And he came down on the wing, and I tried to stick check him. I fell, so he made a move to the outside, and I feel like I broke my ankle. So
I remember sitting there on draft night and sort of being amazed that everyone thought you were the #1 overall prospect, and second pick goes by, third pick goes by, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, the Predators are going to get Seth Jones. What was it like for you, having everybody tell you for months that you're the #1 prospect, and then you're sitting there for a while on draft night?
You just don't know. You don't know when your name's going to get called, and you see it happen every year to a player. And I just happened to be that player. And people say I fell, but I wouldn't say fourth is really a fall. I'm happy where I ended up. I think everything happens for a reason, and I think I've got a special opportunity playing here. This chicken's actually really good. It's like the perfect amount of spice for me.
You guys were so good for the first 2/3 of the season. What's the feeling going into the playoffs now, considering the way you played at times down the stretch?
We just got to be a little more consistent right now. I think we have the ability to beat teams every night, but it comes down to us, not playing a full 60 minutes. I think it's good that we can face a little bit of adversity before the playoffs, because not everything's going to go your way in the playoffs. It's kind of a brand new season. The stakes are much higher is the only thing.
For you now, I mean, sitting here about to embark on a playoff run, everybody wants to hoist that cup at some point. How often have you sat back and thought about that moment with this team?
Quite often. I mean, I think everyone has. I think everyone knows we have a chance to do something special this year. And it doesn't matter who we play. I think the belief factor is the most important thing. Everyone believes that we are capable of winning a cup this year.